Hello everybody, Shelly here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I've got a little goodie box from Colourpop. Nothing comes in PR. I'm not sponsored, affiliated, endorsed, nothing else. Everything, all the opinions in here are my own, as you guys probably know, and I'm not a makeup artist. So we're gonna play with a new collection, not the most recent new collection, but a newer collection. I think this came out in January. Yeah, I was lucky to get the whole collection. So I'm gonna show you guys what I got. And I figured I haven't done this for a long time, but we're just gonna do a face full of Colourpop while we play with this new collection. I'm not gonna do 3 looks with the palette. There's several eye products, but it's well bubble wrapped. I bought a couple other products too. We couldn't leave well enough alone. But this is the, hold on, unwrapping everything. So this is the Wild Child collection, and I did get the eyeshadow palette. There were 2 cheek products. I got both of them. There were what looks to be 3 Super Shocks and a couple lip products. So not quite a face full, like not everything you would expect. And I think this is intended for more darker skin tones. The last Colourpop eyeshadow palette I picked up was the Wine and Only. And I gotta tell you, super saturated, like super bold colors. And I kind of feel like this might be more of the same. I feel like, you know, they've kind of made this move towards really dark, rich, super saturated. And I have like mixed feelings on it because I don't like things too pale or too washed out or too chalky. I like things a little bit more richer, but that you can sheer out. So we're gonna play with this. I brought in the rest of the face full of Colourpop products. A couple things I haven't actually even tried. Some of them is stuff that I've had for a really long time, like this hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer. This probably needs to go away. I think I probably had it a little bit too long now. I also do have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation. I've got a stick foundation. I've got a Pretty Fresh concealer. I'm gonna actually start my prep. This is the Pretty Fresh Hydrating Illuminator. Sometimes I like to put on an illuminating base layer because I think it gives the skin a really nice glow and it's not too over the top when it's underneath, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna grab a little kabuki brush, and I like to keep it kind of on the high points of my face while kind of like keeping it out of the texture, if that makes sense. I know that seems probably a little convoluted, maybe more so than I needed it to be, but this is a product I've never actually used before. Oh, my phone just restarted. Sorry, that's rude. Oh my gosh, my dog is now barking. And that's not a euphemism for smelly feet. My dog was literally barking upstairs. Okay, so this is actually really pretty. It's super lightweight. It definitely gives you a glow to your skin. I think if you have beautiful, poreless skin, then it's fantastic. For me, I might dab it on over the top of something, and I might still, or under my base layers like I am gonna do here today, because I kind of like that sort of, I don't know, it just feels like this sort of lit from within. We're faking everything, aren't we? Okay, so this Pretty Fresh, I got light 8N. I felt like it kind of separated a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be right now. So we're gonna just, and like I said, I think this is, it's time. It's time to move on from this one. I think they're at least a year long open, but sometimes with liquids, and nothing can get into it, so it's not like I'm feeling like it got contaminated. I just felt like it was a little separated. And with most of my tinted moisturizers, I bring it all the way up underneath my lower lash line. It gives you a little bit of that coverage underneath there without being too drying. I've got the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Creamy Concealer. This is in shade Medium 85N. Actually, really like the color. I forget about how much I like the Colourpop products. Oh man, I look really washed out in the camera. I forget how much I really like the Colourpop products. They just feel good on your skin. And I think I get my favorites, but then I get focused on other stuff and I forget to go back in and use the Colourpop stuff, and I actually really like it. I have a stick foundation. It's light 67 neutral, and I'm just gonna grab a little bit and use it as my eyelid base. Some of the stick foundations just in general have a little thicker consistency. So I think they actually work pretty well for a base layer or as a concealer. So if you have a particularly troubled area to conceal, I don't know, I find it works pretty well for me. I do have a Colourpop eyeliner, or eye sorry, eyebrow pencil. I have like a bald spot right here. There are two cheap products in this collection. They both say pressed powder blush. One of them is called Jet Set, one of them is called Trippin'. And I kind of like this little safari looking, it looks like a giraffe, doesn't it? Okay, so Jet Set is this one. And it's a deep color, almost looks like a, I mean, I think both of these probably look like bronzers, right? And this one's Trippin'. Oh yeah, that's much deeper. So between the two, these feel more like bronzers to me. I think you would have to have a super rich skin tone. So I brought some blush too in here, just in case, and it is Colourpop. So let's just try one of these. You know what? We're gonna try the lighter shade, and let's just see what this looks like. Okay, it's a little orangey, but not bad. Okay, I think with the tone on it, I'm bringing it up just a little bit because I feel like this is a little bit more of an orangey blush color than it is like really a bronzer or a contour. And that's actually okay. I didn't go in super heavy, unusual, right? Of course, it's still early. We could always over abuse that. I chose this collection because I really do like neutrals. I wanted to see if it was as saturated as the Wine and Only palette and if it would be a little bit more to my liking. All right, I actually do like that as a blush. I would have thought by looking at this that it would have been far too deep, but as I applied it and kind of brought it up a little bit, I'm like, okay, I see that. Challenging perceptions here, I think. Okay, you know what? We're gonna try the darker shade, which is called Trippin'. I'm gonna get a little bit smaller of a brush. I do have one, don't I? Yeah, a little bit smaller of a brush. And I'm just gonna tip into this a little bit, and let's see what that looks like as more of a, okay, yeah, that darkened up. A little strategic contouring, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these feel very summer-like. These don't feel like a winter, maybe even spring collection. Now, I say that, and I've literally tapped into the two colors. So we're gonna leave well enough alone for now. We might come back and do some more blush, but for first couple swipes, I'm digging it. Okay, what do we have as far as Super Shocks here? First one's called Run Wild. Definitely a pretty gold shade. I could see maybe even using one of those bronzers and this over the top. Just kind of on your movable lid. Super fast and easy eyeshadow look. Okay, the next one is called Basic Instinct, is this one. That's pretty. That's much darker. Okay, third one in the collection is called Free Reign, and it looks like more of a cool toned chocolate. Less bronze, less gold. Oh my gosh, all three of these I could see with one of those blushes as an eyeshadow combination. Super pretty. Okay, let's take a look at the palette too. Well, I've got it because I don't know what direction I'm gonna go in, and I really wanted to play with some Colourpop. Oh, I should say that all three of the palettes in this collection are like the plastic with the similar sort of giraffe. We've seen these before in the 9 pans. Oh. So I have like a broken shade right here that is Fierce. So I'm just gonna kind of press it back in with my finger. It's a pretty color, but I have all over my finger now. And it almost looks like one of these Super Shock shades, frankly. It could be. Looks like we got a pressed glitter in here too. Largely warm, but you do have a dark row. You've got 1, 2, 3, looks like 3, maybe 4 kind of satiny type metallics with that glitter in the middle, and then 4 matte shades. A little closer, a little bit easier to see some eyeshadow application. Let's go ahead and get into this palette here. We're gonna start with the lightest matte in here. And I did not put anything over that stick foundation. So I'll be curious to see if it grips too much or what. Okay, that shadow went on very, very nicely. It is not as deep and rich as I think that Wine and Only palette gave us just so much like saturated color right away. This all of a sudden becomes a much more wearable, user-friendly, like work, stay at home, no makeup day, subtle, like you don't need to be all like, hey, notice my eyeshadow. For fun, let's go into this more kind of the next darkest of the mattes. Because I want to see how it's going to go right into that crease. Definitely warmer. And we're just kind of blending this in, that crease in. I'm trying to keep it all kind of in the same location. I am going to go back to that first brush though and buff that in up here. I didn't grab any more product. I'm just taking whatever's left on my brush to kind of buff out that top ledge. That's okay. I almost want to go a little deeper right in here. Little tiny patchiness, but nothing crazy. And I'm not taking the most time in the world to blend this because frankly, if we're leading busy lifestyles, who's got time to sit there and blend for half an hour? I do try to make sure I look up to make sure that I've got just a little bit of that transition kind of peeking through, and to get the shape where I want it to be. It makes such a huge difference, I think. Have you guys been wearing color lately, or are you wearing neutrals? Leave me a comment down below. Tell me kind of where you're leaning. Are you excited for the change in season and you're dipping into more colors because you're tired of, you know, the same thing? Are you find that you're wearing more warmer colors, more cooler colors? Like, where are you going with it? I think I'm gonna skip on the Super Shocks right now, as much as I love them. I think I wanna try them, as I mentioned earlier. So if you want me to come back and do any kind of videos with Super Shock, I've got a box full of Super Shock shadows. But I feel like I really wanna just kind of stay with this palette. So I'm gonna go into this kind of cool toned, with a smaller brush. We're gonna use that right up against my lash line. Wow, that was unexpected. Okay. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just way darker than I thought it was going to be. A little darker than I thought it was going to be, but we're going to take the brush that I used. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab a clean brush. I was going to take my crease, not my crease brush, but my transition brush and use that, but I'm actually just going to use a clean brush in case I have to go back into that transition shade. And I'm just basically kind of just smoothing out the edges of that. Sometimes I use other brands and I get kind of used to not as good quality, but I always feel like I come back to Colourpop and I use Colourpop products and I'm like, why do I stray? All right, we're going in. I'm sorry I'm not reading the words. They're gold on a brown background, which is fine. I can probably make them out, but I'm gonna have to put my reading glasses on and take them off and on, and you're just gonna get ring light stuff. So we're gonna take this one right here. If you happen to have this palette and you're following along, it's that one. Okay, there's some pretty healthy amount of kick up on this palette, I gotta be honest. All right, that's really pretty too. How do you pick your favorite shade? All right, you know how I said that the Wine and Only palette was too saturated for me? This palette also has a large amount of saturation, but I feel like it shears out, and because they're neutrals, I think they're a little bit more wearable. I'm going to take this one right here, which feels like a kind of a bronze color. You know what? Some of these shades kind of remind me of like the Natasha Denona bronze palette. With my fuchsia colored sweater, I probably could have gotten away with doing something more pink. You know what? It doesn't hurt my feelings going into some of these bronzier colors right now, but it does feel very summer-like. I think this is going to be one that I use quite a bit this summer. Hopefully by the time this video goes live, they have some that you can pick up if you're at all interested in these colors. I'm going to blend this out just a little bit. Yeah, this is the right one. I'm going to blend that out because if I have too dark too close in, it definitely brings the eye together even more, and that's not something I need to do. This is probably one of those palettes where you could do one or two shades and kind of get what you need out of it without going into every single one. As much as I want to use this glitter in here, I'm not going to. I'm not going to put it on my eyelids. I am going to go into the bronze one that kind of looked like it had broken a little bit, and I'm picking up a little bit on my finger and just putting a little bit right there. So I would say that that color is very finely pressed. That shimmer in there might even be one that you should pick up with a damp brush as opposed to what I just did with my fingers. I used to have a Colourpop mascara and I really liked it, and it was brown. Would have been actually probably good with this look, and I used it all up and I never replaced it. Learning my lesson, I'm actually going to get it off the back of my hand before I start touching anything else. I need some eyeliner. I do have a collection of Colourpop gel eyeliners. I really like them. I'm gonna grab just kind of a dark brown. Give me a second to do eyeliner and mascara. I'll be right back. As always, a little bit of mascara makes all the difference in my opinion, so oh, I should probably tell you, I've been using this It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara for a while. I'm gonna be sad when I get through this. I'm actually gonna take this Run Wild Super Shock. I wasn't gonna use any of these. Grab a little tiny bit of it on a pencil brush, and I'm gonna use that right there. It doesn't always have to be super bright and light. It could also still be in the same color family. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna drag a little bit down here too. I forget with brown eyes how much I really do like golds and bronze, and especially when you're kind of, you know, getting this sort of dark lash line and then it blends up. I don't know, I just think it can look really pretty with brown eyes. And I forget about some of these little things every now and then. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this blush. I know it's another Colourpop. Is it a Super Shock? Birthday Suit Super Shock Cheek, and it's a little more pink than any of the other colors I'm wearing, but I want to kind of bring that coolness to the top of this. And I think Birthday Suit really works for me. Okay, yeah, I like that. Birthday Suit is actually one of my favorite Super Shock cheek blushes. I should probably do a favorites video, huh, on my Super Shocks. Feeling like it's going to be a pretty makeup day. I do have 2 lip products. We probably need a lip liner, but let's figure out what we're working with here. We have an Oh Behave and a Brat Pack, so let's take a look and see what shades these are. If I recall, they're going to be more of this darker, richer color anyway. Okay, they're like the normal lippy stick type. So we've got some kind of warmer browns. They seem very similar. Okay, so the packaging is very similar. One of these. Let's just do a little. Do we have a clean spot? Yeah. So this is the... Okay, that's dark. That one's Oh Behave. And the other one... Seems like it's a little more red. Oh, that's pretty. Might as well layer these, right? Might as well kind of do what we normally do. I've got a Colourpop lippy pencil in the shade BFF. I think it's BFF 3, maybe? Here's my thing with dark lip liner. Yeah, I know this looks crazy right now. Don't judge me. We're not done yet. If I'm wearing a dark lipstick, I've got to go a little bit above, because I think as you lose that thickness of your upper lip as you get older, you've got to kind of enhance it a little bit. And is that what we're doing with makeup anyway? We're kind of like enhancing. I don't overline a huge amount, but a little bit. Okay, lips are lined. The consistency of these Colourpop gel liners, whether it's the eyeliner or the lip liner, is just really nice. Okay, we're gonna take the darker shade and we're gonna go along. Wait, is that the darker one? No. It's weird because the bottom seems to be just very similar, but then the top part is kind of where you get the match of colors. So I guessed wrong at first. Okay, kept that color towards the outside a little bit. Now we're gonna go in with a lighter shade. Right. I think this feels very fall or summer. I mean, late summer, not even like early summer. Did they release this collection at the wrong time? Or is it just to counteract the fact that those berry tones, if you're not into those rich wine and only super saturated cranberries, burgundies, berries that they gave us the last release, if you're not into that, but you like the warmer tones, I think, I don't know, I feel very 90s right now. I feel very 90s supermodel. Okay, we're gonna go in. I've got a Colourpop setting powder. I love this stuff. I forget how much I love some of this stuff. I get going on other stuff and then I get lazy and don't swap it out. And then I remember when I go in, I'm like, oh, I should do a face full of Colourpop since we have this new collection. Then I reach into my drawer and I go, oh, I forgot how much I really did like these. The consistency of this, the coverage of it. I just think it is so pretty. And I didn't use any kind of like pore minimizing primer. Probably could have, but I did not. Okay. We have our makeup on. Let me set it down. I got the Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid. I still haven't gotten through this. This thing lasted forever. And it's by far one of my favorite setting sprays. I like the scent of it because it has that coconut summery kind of scent. and it has a really fine mist and it feels refreshing, and I don't feel like I just took a shower. I'm gonna zoom you back out so we can chat. Got you a little zoomed out. Oh, you know what? Shoot, I didn't even see it. There's another lip product in here too. I didn't even see this hiding in the, this is a totally different color. All right. Sorry, I thought I only had 2, and then I realized there's actually 3. That one, this last one seems like it's more of a cool toned shade. I'm not upset. The lips are probably a little more darker than I would normally do. I'd probably actually take it a little lighter. It's a little dramatic. What do you guys think of there? Distracted. It is rich, it's saturated, it's warm. It's like a box of See's candy or some sort of Ghirardelli chocolates. This is fun. I will absolutely use this. Probably one of my more pleasant surprise Colourpop releases. I don't like the pastel ones. I can't get behind the pastels. And maybe it's just because I'm old and I prefer this sort of richer, smokier, dramatic look. These Super Shocks, with maybe even the darker of the blushes, are gonna be probably like my everyday go-to for a little while. That's how I best like to use the Super Shocks, is I use a blush or a bronzer as my transition, go over the lid with the Super Shock, and I'm done. And I love it. This is a cute little collection. And it was fun to play with some Colourpop stuff that I haven't used in a while. So I hope that was fun for you guys. I don't know. You guys have to let me know. Did you guys pick up any items from this collection? Are you going to? Does it look too 90s? Are we past that now? Is it too summer or fall or something? I think it kind of works. I'm gonna film something else that's completely not anything I've ever done before, so it'll go up after this. I don't know when it'll go up after this, but maybe even the very next one. We'll have to see kind of what the schedule looks like. But I have an Amazon haul that I'm gonna film. I've got several Amazon videos that I want to do. I figured out how to do like the links, the short links, so I'll include those in the description when I do the videos. Are you excited? Keep learning. Okay, I also have this BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year palette. I got that coming up. I got Colored Rain. I want to do 3 looks with 1, so we'll see if that comes up. I've got a bunch of stuff here that I've just been looking forward to the time that I can sit and play. And today was a day to use a new collection, and I like it. It feels good, and it doesn't feel heavy, and I have a gray hair. Oh my Lord. That's the least of my problems. Like first word problems. Hey, you got like a gray hair. Move on, Shelly. All right, you guys. I hope you guys are doing really well, and until my next video, bye for now.